Welcome everyone to our session today. My name is Jody Johnson and I'm going to be your producer, and in just a moment I'll be handing things over to Shannon. But let me just very quickly let you know how we're going to be running things today in our webinar. I'll be here in the background to support all of you in your session today. Feel free as participants to use the chat freely. Now that is not something that I may be managing or watching throughout, and Shannon will not be watching the chat throughout just because it's hard to teach and manage the chat at the same time. So feel free to use the chat amongst yourselves. If you have questions for Shannon or myself or for TAP, you can use the Q&A. We have enabled that today, so please feel free. While Shannon is teaching, you're going to have questions. They're going to pop up. You're going to think, well, what about this? And how do I do that in this situation? So feel free to use the question and answer feature for that. We will not be necessarily answering all the questions during our 1 hour because 1 hour is not a lot of time to go over this topic. But what we're going to do is we're going to collect those questions and we're going to be answering them throughout the course of this program over the next 15 webinars. Okay, so we want you to make sure that you stay tuned for all of the invitations that are going to be coming to you over the number of weeks. Make sure you join us when you can. Also, just to let you know, we are recording. So if you can't make every single one of them, you're going to be able to access those after the sessions once we get them all posted for you. Okay, so that's the meat of that. So let's get right into this. Before I hand it to Shannon, I just very quickly wanted to just give you a very brief introduction of Shannon. Now, you've probably read a little bit about her experience, the years, the things. I just want to tell you something a little bit personal about Shannon. I have worked off and on with Shannon and for Shannon for over 25 years. And I just want you to know and feel comfortable and safe in this space with her. You're probably never going to meet another human who cares about your life and your success as you will when you meet Shannon. So her passion genuinely is to take the things that she has learned from her successes and failures and share them with you. Shannon has a corporate experience. She's trained all over the world, but more importantly, she has specific experience, many years in direct sales, not only as a trainer, but as someone who has had a successful business. So we wanted you to know that before we got started. I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to pass it to Shannon so that she can dive right into the content with you. Have a wonderful session, and again, feel free to reach out in the Q&A, chat with each other on the chat. Shannon, I'm going to pass it to you and turn my camera off.
Okay, thank you so much, Jody. Hello, everyone. So exciting to be here. Me again. I feel like I've been in front of you in some way, shape, or form over the past year a couple of times. And I'm really excited to tell you that you'll be seeing me on a consistent basis now that I'm happily part of the Healy family. For those of you who haven't met me yet, Jody just shared some of those things with you. And I just want you to know from my perspective that I will be your learning leader for the next year, helping you learn, helping you grow and evolve your business into a stable way to reach your goals and dreams. And I can't tell you how excited I am about that. It truly is my purpose and passion. I generally like to ask folks how they showed up before I start any session. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I ask that. So I'm going to ask you in a second. Jody's actually going to help us do a poll. And what this does is it does two things. It gives me an idea of how you showed up and how I need to meet you, how I can meet you where you're at. But it also does something else. It really does give you the opportunity to move your marker, to reflect on whether or not you are fully present, and give you the opportunity to set aside those distractions, pause on those competing priorities, and decide to be here for the next 55 minutes, because we have a lot of really valuable information that we want to share with you. So Jody, if you would be so kind, please go ahead and put that scale, 1 being, you'd rather be anywhere else but here, and 5 being you're all in. Okay, so let's see that. All right, so we've got some different responses.
Yeah, I'm watching. It's going up fast, so let's give them like 10 more
Yeah.
seconds. We've got about half of the people who responded, so let's just see. I feel like I should be singing the Jeopardy music or something. All
I
right.
love the honesty. I love seeing folks just being really real about where they're at. We all show up in different ways. We all have different things that are going on outside of our Healy business. But I do want to invite you to just see if you can set aside some of that and decide to be fully present with me today, and see if you can't take something really, really valuable away that will help motivate you to reach your goals.
All right. I had decided to stop the poll.
All
I
right.
think you can now see the results.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Right.
Thank you so much for that. All right. Well, shall we get started? Let's talk a little bit about direct selling, specifically in a modern world, okay? What I want to do for the next little while with you is explore the conception of direct selling and cover some of the facts about the direct sales channel. I want to definitely dispel some of those common myths and or fears. Really what we're trying to do in this partnership is to prepare you to easily and confidently share your products, services, opportunities with potential customers and help them make the right decision for them. And while we're at it, we'll also discover the important principles of sales and learn how to build trust by helping others. So hopefully that sounds good to you, okay? So let's get something straight. Direct sales is a pretty simple business strategy, and it's nothing new, okay? Direct selling is the sale of consumer products or services, person to person, outside of a fixed retail space, okay? It's also an avenue for entrepreneurial minded folks like you, to work independently and to build business. And generally, no matter what direct sales company you choose to work with, generally they're fairly low startup fees and overhead costs that are involved. So it allows people to enter a space where they can start a business, and and a lot of people are able to do that. Distributors work on their own, but when it comes to direct selling, we want to partner with a direct selling company, but they also retain their freedom to run their business and run their business in their own way. So what I want to do before we even get into the facts and stats and some of those sales principles that we want you to consider, I want to give you a quick history lesson. All right, picture this: direct selling in the distant past. This is where traders roam the ancient streets, offering their wares to eager customers. Picture the bustling bazaars of ancient Egypt, where artisans and merchants would showcase their crafts directly to interested buyers. This rudimentary form of direct selling laid the groundwork for a revolutionary concept that would transcend generations. Fast forward to the 18th century, and then we find ourselves amidst the birth of a new era, the Industrial Revolution. And as society underwent those massive transformations, so did the way in which we reached customers. So enterprising individuals seized that opportunity, and they started building personal connections and built trust by going directly to consumers' doors or customers' doors. They went door to door, salesmen with charismatic charm and persuasive skills, would travel from town to town, and they would offer an array of goods. It could be anything from patent medicines to household items. And oftentimes they were met by eager households who needed those services. And they needed, the convenience, and they liked the novelty too, to get something new. But it wasn't really until the 19th century, the late 19th century, really, that direct selling really began to blossom into an industry of its own. In the US, the rise of rural markets presented this unique opportunity for companies like Avon, which would actually become an iconic symbol of direct selling. They emerged during this time. Their reps, predominantly women, became beacons of empowerment and entrepreneurship. This was something new. And they were able to connect with customers through personal relationships. And they demonstrated their products as they went door to door. As the 20th century dawned, though, direct selling really experienced both challenges and triumphs. There were lots of economic downturns. It tested the industry's resilience. Now, there were advancements in technology, of course. It opened up some new avenues for reaching customers, but telephone sales became a thing then. It enabled sellers to connect across great distances. So this opened up the doors to increase their market share, right? They used radio and television that propelled direct sales into the spotlight. There were a lot of charismatic personalities that enticed them with these compelling offers. And in the late 20th century, it really took on a new dimension with the introduction of network marketing. So companies like Amway and Herbalife pioneered this kind of innovative approach because it was really empowering people. That's really what it was doing, was empowering people to build and own their own sales networks. The concept of team building came about, and residual income gained some traction, and inspiring people to explore entrepreneurship, to unlock their potential. This became part of the narrative of direct sales. And sorry about that, my my finger went a little too fast on that. And so what happened is, it wasn't really until the late 20th century, or really now today, where direct selling has kind of transferred across borders. So as we saw, as people joined us today, we saw people from Portugal, we saw people from Mexico, we're seeing people from Canada and the US. We were able to actually, remove the borders so that we could become successful as entrepreneurs. We adapted to that digital age. E-commerce became a thing, social media became a thing. And we could now build our businesses from the comfort of our own homes. We could connect with people, we could build relationships through social media and through email and through Zoom, and being able to see people face to face but not actually be in the same country, which was very, very exciting to us. What I would say is direct sales has really become a beacon of opportunity. It's truly a space where people can be empowered to control their own destinies, to think about and achieve financial freedom, to nurture thriving communities. And so from that ancient world of, bazaars to the digital age, the power of personal connections and the entrepreneurial spirit have really continued to shape what we would now call a vibrant industry. This industry as a whole, this sales channel as a whole, really shows resilience in people. It shows innovation, and it's ongoing. So have we faced some challenges? 100%, but we continue to evolve and grow. And that's why we're talking about modern sales, the evolution of modern direct sales, because we need to continue. We no longer can necessarily go door to door. In fact, in a lot of cases, people won't answer the door if you knock on it. So we've actually had to evolve. So let's take a look at what the direct selling, what some of the direct sales facts and stats are currently right now. So direct selling in the United States achieved record highs in 2021. In the retail sales network at $42.7 billion. This is no joke. This is a real thing, and it absolutely supports our economy, and it allows an equal opportunity for folks to be able to contribute to their families' incomes. In fact, almost 7.3 million direct sellers in the US built a business full time, and they serve more than 35 million customers. So when you think about who is your audience, just know there are a lot of people out there that you can connect with that are interested and already do business in the direct sales space. In fact, what we have found out that 46% of Americans would welcome contact from a direct seller regarding business opportunities on social media. Now that's pretty high. And I think that on a lot of levels, we may not realize how many people out there are actually open to the idea. We are often stalled by our fears. Perhaps we've had a bad experience. There's definitely some challenges, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But on a whole, we saw this study. It was done in 2019. It's not that long ago, but Ipsos did this study on behalf of the Direct Selling Association. And this is what they found when they did that research. And 69% of people actually want to support small businesses. And that trend is actually going up. What we're seeing is a pull away from big corporate North America and a sense of wanting to help others. And so we're seeing that with some of our newer generations, the Generation X and our millennials. And I would hazard a guess, an educated guess, that our Gen Alpha will absolutely want to support each other as opposed to big corporate America. So this leaves a really, really great opportunity for us, okay? So before I go into that further, though, what I want us to do is really understand the different ways in which companies use to get their products into the hands of consumers, okay? So we've got manufacturers, we've got distributors, we've got franchises, retail, and in retail specifically, we're talking about like a physical store, a storefront, and then we've got internet retail like Amazon, and then we have direct sales. So, and there are many. I've got a list, yay long. I didn't want to share it today, but these are just some companies where people use this direct sales channel. It's a retail channel. It's used by top global brands, but it's also used by smaller entrepreneurial companies to market their products and services to consumers. Now, direct selling is different from broader retail. Now, like broader retail, it gets products and services into the hands of consumers. But unlike broader retail, it's an avenue where entrepreneurial people like you and me, can work independently to build a business. So this allows us to actually be part of something where we're helping a company get their products, but I'm actually making money too. And that's exciting. That's an exciting opportunity for us. From the perspective of the consumer, it's a great way to get your hands on fantastic products. It's also a way in which you can support friends and family with their small businesses. And of course, from the eye of an entrepreneur, someone who has an entrepreneurial mindset, it's a great way and a great option with very little risk that you have to take on yourself. And that's very attractive to a lot of us. In the age of social networking, direct selling is a go-to market strategy that for many companies and many product lines may be actually more effective than traditional advertising or securing premium shelf space. Now, that quote comes from the World Federation of Direct Selling. So don't take it from me, take it from them. They actually know what they're talking about. All right, so let's talk about this equal opportunity and how easy it is. All right. Direct sales is truly a real option for anyone. Now, many of us, maybe people who are in this call today are like, I'm joining this, webinar, see what this is all about, but I'm definitely not doing direct sales, or I'm definitely not building a team. Maybe I just want to sell my product, which is all fine. Remember what I said about the beauty and flexibility about building a direct sales business. is it means that you can build it the way that you want to and what you're comfortable with. But let me tell you a few things, okay? Even though a lot of folks don't start out with the intention, they start using a product, they fall in love with the product. Maybe they don't like the idea of becoming a salesperson because, let's face it, people don't like salespeople, right? Like that's kind of a common myth out there. Maybe they don't want to sell, you know. I just want you to understand that it is a viable option and an equal opportunity. And the reason why it's an equal opportunity is anyone can do it. You don't need a lot of money to start. It's a very simple process. What is needed, though, is your ability to open your mind up to an opportunity of what it can offer, not just to you or your family, but also how it can help others. So in our case at Healy, we know that we can make a difference in the world, that we can create a space where we are allowing people to go on a wellness journey that can really help them in all kinds of key areas of their life. What I would say, though, is if you are considering, and hopefully most of you in here are already kind of halfway there, if you're not there full in already, the key is to find a company that shares your values. That's the key. Don't try to join a company that doesn't share your values. That's not going to go very far. You know, you need belief. You need to believe in what you're doing. You need to really be able to get behind the mission and vision behind your company that you are going to now be partners with. You want products that you believe in, of course, and you also want a community of support. And believe you me, when I went to the homecoming, just a few weeks back in Orlando, I could see and feel the energy in the room, the way in which people were supporting each other, the way in which people were there for each other. I can see already that you are very, very fortunate to belong to a community of support already. So honestly, half the work is done for you, right? Essentially, what you've got to do, if you want to build a business with direct sales, specifically Healy, you need to sell your products or services. Okay. So in our case, we want to sell our devices. Maybe if we want to grow our business, we may consider building a team. And then we have to help our team do the same thing. Pretty simple, really. Just gonna let you ponder that for a minute. What does the day in the life of direct sales professional look like? Well, you know, I've said it's pretty simple. Well, essentially, you do what any other entrepreneur does. You talk to people, you create quality connections with them, you help where you can, you genuinely care, you stay connected, and you help them decide what's right for them. So what we want you to do is consistently do those daily activities. We want you to consistently do the things that make a difference. Yeah, there's some operational tasks that you'll have to do, just like any other operation or business that you have to operate. But these aren't rocket science. These are simple things. And in fact, we will be talking later in our program about how to build a daily activity plan that is specifically right for you. Okay, so look forward to that. Stay tuned because we will be talking about how to create our daily activity plans that are specific to our own goals. What's right for you is going to be different than what's right for somebody else. So yeah, stay tuned. We're going to be definitely diving into that a little bit further down the road. All right. So why do you think people choose direct sales over other types of entrepreneurship? Well, I'd like you to meet Sam Sweet, okay? Sam here is very near and dear to our hearts here at TAP. In fact, you'll probably get to know Sam pretty well over our time together. In fact, Sam could have gotten involved in direct sales for any and or all of these reasons. So maybe Sam thought it would be fun to sell cupcakes. So Sam joined the Life is Sweet Cupcake Company, which is a direct selling cupcake company. Wow, company. Obviously, we've made this up, but let's just say, for all intents and purposes, this is our direct selling company, Life is Sweet Cupcake Company. So Sam is interested. Sam's tasted the cupcakes and wants a new challenge. So Sam has decided that this might be a fun and interesting thing to do. Maybe Sam wants to sell cupcakes and be a parent. Maybe Sam needs that flexibility. Or perhaps Sam really hates the job that they're in right now. And so they want to completely replace their income. Now, Sam could be also a complete and utter fan of cupcakes. And Life is Sweet cupcakes are the best cupcakes on the planet. And so Sam's really passionate, really mission-minded around getting cupcakes into the hands of all people around the world. So Sam decides that this is her purpose, and she's going to go ahead and sell cupcakes because that's what she wants to do. Perhaps Sam wants to sell cupcakes in her own way. Maybe she likes being her own boss. And so this is a way in which she can do that. Or maybe, Sam is really happy being, a substitute teacher, or perhaps, a coach, a volleyball coach, or works at the, local retail station, but wants to supplement her income just a little bit to pay for extra dance lessons for her daughter. Well, in that case, Sam might decide to join, Life is Sweet Cupcake Company because she wants to increase her take-it-home pay. And maybe she's met a whole bunch of her friends who are selling cupcakes, and they're having so much fun. And they seem to be doing all these fun things together. And they've built this community of support that she actually wants to be part of that community. There are all kinds of reasons why people get involved in direct sales. So what I want to know from you is, I'd like to know why you got involved. Jody's going to run a poll for us right now. Now, we'd like you to pick maybe 1 or 2, 3 max. We're really interested to see what the results are.
Shannon, can you see the
I
number?
can.
Okay, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. Check.
Awesome.
Okay.
So interesting. You just let me know. We'll keep it going for another couple of seconds, get everyone's responses.
Maybe 10 more seconds.
Come on, folks, if you can find it, let's see why you're involved. Awesome.
Okay, I'm going to end this poll and I'm going to share the results with you.
Right. Awesome. So what we're seeing is, I guess, passion and mission are leading the charge on why you got involved with Healy. So that's really interesting. But income replacement is a very close second. Actually, being my own boss is a second. And then coming in really close, flexibility, income replacement, sense of community, income supplement, new challenges. So what we're seeing is people really do get involved with network marketing for many different reasons. What's really beautiful about that is, even if you only got involved, let's say, because you're really passionate about your Healy device and what it can do for others, there's some other benefits that come along with it, right? So we want you to be really clear about those benefits and why it's important to you. Thank you so much for that, Jody. There are other benefits as well. What I would say is that direct selling as an industry, so to speak, is probably, out of all my clients that I see and the couple of decades that I've been doing this, it is a large investment. And as you can see, Healy has put a large investment in helping you grow personally and professionally. And so that is one of the benefits, as well as not only do you get the benefits that come from owning a business, but you will personally grow and professionally grow. And that's pretty exciting. That's a really great reason to get involved with anything, really. In fact, we know in traditional businesses, one of the things about the modern workforce in general, if you heard me speak, is people want training. They want to be able to grow and learn. And so this is an opportunity not only that you have yourself, but you can share with others, because they will have this opportunity to have these aha moments in these great webinars like this one, or our leader calls that are starting tomorrow, right? So this is a really great benefit. Obviously, we can do it from home. There are tax benefits. It's inexpensive to operate. There's great earning potential. It's really about what you put in, though, right? So, oftentimes there can be fun bonuses or incentives. Oftentimes there's this ability or opportunity to do some travel. You've got a fun social environment. You just had to be in Orlando with me and realize that there was lots of fun things that were happening around us. These are really, really attractive benefits to becoming involved in the business side of things. And of course, that supportive community. And one of the things that we do know from the modern workforce, the people who are out there looking for opportunities to earn money also want to be part of something bigger than themselves. This is part of your, this is part of the benefits that you can share with others and help build your team if that's something you're interested in doing. All right. What we want you to know is that direct sales is a legitimate business. However, I want to bring up the elephant in the room, okay? There is some negativity. There is some skepticism. In fact, there might be people on this call right now who might be a tad bit skeptical, who perhaps don't fully feel comfortable with the direct sales model. And so I want to talk about that with you a little bit, okay? Trust has been broken. And that's the reason why we're seeing some negativity that is entering our space. So when we are trying to explain maybe our business model, you may find that people come up with that objection. Now, trust has been broken for a couple of different reasons. The two main ones I'm going to share with you, okay? Pyramid schemes and Ponzi schemes. So how many of you have heard, oh, you're in network marketing? Oh, you're a direct seller? Oh, that's a pyramid scheme. Okay, listen, let's clear the air here and let's educate everyone who at least is on this call right now. A pyramid scheme is a business model that recruits members by promising them payment if they bring other people into the scheme. They often don't sell a product. They often don't sell a service. It's just bring in more people, we'll give you money, because those people are going to pay money to get in and we'll pay you out of that. Now, Ponzi scheme is very similar. It's a form of fraud that attracts new investors to pay profits to earlier investors. The scheme leads to victims who actually believe that profits are coming from product sales or services when they're not, okay? And so oftentimes people will see or think that they know what they're talking about. And I do not want you to have to deal with people who come up and say, oh, it's a pyramid scheme, when in fact it is not. In fact, what we do at Healy is absolutely, completely based on providing people with real, legitimate products or services that they need and or want at a fair price, okay? So let's kind of put that out there. Let's even be clearer here. Pyramid schemes are illegal, okay? They're based on taking advantage of people. For a person to actually make money in a pyramid scheme, someone else has to lose money. But in direct sales, each person can multiply their efforts, skills, and talents just by simply helping somebody else be successful. In fact, it's not that different from regular business. Not that different. In fact, it's not different at all. Except that, when I think about when I started TAP, my investment was a lot higher and I didn't have a supportive community. I had to build that myself. So there are real benefits to becoming part of a direct sales network. Direct sales has absolutely proven itself as part of the new economy, as you could see from the stats at the beginning of our presentation, right? And funny enough, it's becoming a more preferred way to do business here and around the world. So isn't that interesting? All right. The truth about direct sales, here you go. Direct selling is a retail channel, okay? It's used by top global brands and smaller entrepreneurial companies to market products and services to consumers. It differs from broader retail in an important way. It isn't just about getting the products and services into the hands of people who want it. It's also an avenue for entrepreneurial people who want to build a business, to work independently with low startup fees and overhead costs. Direct selling consultants, distributors, whatever you want to call it, independent consultants, there's all kinds of different terms that people use. They affiliate with a company that uses the channel, and they retain the freedom to run a business on their own terms. Millions of people around the world choose to become involved in direct sales because they enjoy the company's products or services, and they enjoy all the benefits I just showed you. So that's the thing. That's the truth about direct sales, okay? Direct sales also has a trust problem for these reasons as well, okay? And it's not just because there have been scams out there. It's not just because direct selling companies have not built their businesses on credible business models or integrity. Another reason why direct sales does have a trust problem, specifically in our new technical era, is because some distributors have used high pressure tactics. Some distributors are not really good at active listening. In fact, it doesn't mean that they're not good people. It just means maybe they're so excited about sharing that they, spew all the information all at once, and they don't give time for the other person to do any talking, to ask questions. Oftentimes we don't find out what the problem is and see if we're a solution. Oftentimes direct sellers have focused too much on selling or recruiting, and that has come across as very cringy and very trust breaking to consumers. So they've had a bad experience. We've seen this before. Misrepresenting the opportunity, you're going to get rich quick. You're going to become an overnight success. Here's the thing, folks. If you want to build a sustainable business, it's going to take work. We don't offer magic pills here. We're going to say, put in the work, you'll see the results, no doubt about it. And I am going to ensure that you have all what you need in order to build a successful and sustainable business. But you're not going to get rich quick. That's not what we're selling here, okay? There's opportunities. Sometimes we will see significant growth. We're seeing that at TAP right now. But it wasn't something I counted on. Oh, okay, yeah, we're going to get 10 clients overnight. That's not generally realistic. So what we want to do is we want to put realistic goals into place. Oftentimes we've seen folks who make inaccurate or false claims. That can get us into trouble because it breaks trust with people. And sometimes we have a lack of transparency. And again, this is something that has caused some trouble in our world of direct selling. So I do want to ask you a couple of questions. These are questions I want you to ponder, okay? So this is a reflective moment for you, all right? I want you to be really honest with yourself. Nobody else is going to know your answers. I can't see your faces. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. Are you acting like the kind of person you want to spend time with? Have you done consistently what you said you were going to do? Have you been working to really get to know your customer? Can you answer questions about your products and the direct sales channel? Now, I will caveat that with saying you don't need to know everything, but it's important that you know some things. Do you provide stellar customer service? Are you getting back to people when they're struggling, when they don't know how to use their device, when they have questions about things? Do you ask for feedback? Listen to it. Do something with it. Are you genuine and real with people? Do you act in a way that's congruent with your company and their values? Are you honest? Are you evasive when people ask questions? Are you able to own your mistakes? You drop the ball, you just apologize, then move on. It's easy. It builds trust. People don't expect you to be perfect. They don't expect you to know all the things. They just want you to be genuine and to own when maybe you've, done something that might, not necessarily build trust. And do you take multiple opportunities to truly get to know your people? And I'm talking about not just customers, I'm talking about your teams. I'm talking about cross lines. Are you known as one of those people who genuinely is wanting to connect with others? If you can answer yes to most of these questions, the ones in a positive light anyway, you will be well on your way to being able to build a business that won't feel cringy, that will make you feel good about what you're doing, and absolutely will make others, consumers, customers feel good about what they're doing with you, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the evolution of sales in general, okay? So this isn't just direct sales, this is sales in general, all right? So there used to be the old school peddler, okay? They were going door to door, they were doing cold calls. They provided lots of options, information. They tried to meet needs. They were selling a product or company, but often at all costs. They were handling objections, but often in a bit of a cringy way. They were asking leading questions instead of actually looking to find out what the real problem is. They were constantly looking to close. Well, here's what, folks. If you aren't genuinely interested in solving someone's problem and they sense that you are always trying to close that deal, they're not going to trust you. And trust is integral to the modern consumer. Integral. We'll talk about that a little bit later too, because we're going to talk about who the modern consumer is and what they need and how you're going to meet those needs. But again, not in today's session, just stay posted because I promise you we're going to talk about all these things, okay? They often use persuasion and manipulation. I don't know about you, but I don't like it when someone's trying to manipulate me into buying something. And even if I do, I'm not saying fear-based or strong tactics don't work. They actually do. But with it comes buyer's remorse. With it comes mistrust. With it comes telling somebody else about your negative experience. So just because you get the sale, it's not a win, okay? You have to win that sale in a way that builds trust. So you don't want to be pressuring. You don't want to be pestering. You don't want to be intimidating. And you certainly don't want to be serving yourself. Here's the thing. There are benefits to doing something that you love, okay? There'll be benefits to it, but you cannot be doing it solely to serve yourself, or else you'll be seen through and people will know that you're not being authentic and genuine. The modern trusted advisor, that's who we want you to be as direct sales professionals, okay? We want you to be out there locally, globally, online, and we want you to be building relationships. Relationships and your ability to build strong relationships is going to be at the core of your business. It's at the core of every business, okay? We're in the people business. If we're in business at all, we're in the people business. We're not in the product business, we're in the people business. And it is imperative that you know how to build trusting relationships with them. You want to be a provider of education wherever you can, again, not needing to know everything. You want to offer quality, value, integrity. You want to sell yourself. You want to be exciting. You want to be someone who someone else wants to be around and be part of. You want to be meeting needs. Okay. You want to be answering questions. That's all part of it. You want to help them with their decision. That's right for them. And then you need to respect their decision. But it doesn't mean you don't follow up. Again, we'll talk about follow up a little bit further down the road. You want to be serving. You want to be inspiring. And through that, you know what's going to happen? People will not just become loyal. They will tell others about you. Okay. And you want to be serving a greater purpose. So the evolution of sales is we're going from the old school peddler into the modern trusted advisor. Okay. We don't want to focus on what used to work. Just because it used to work that way, just because we did it that way in the past, does not mean we have to do it in the future. And in fact, because our modern consumer is evolving at such a quick pace, it is imperative that we evolve with them. All right. Need is not enough because they have so many options. At first, they used to have an apple. Now they have a Granny Smith. Now they have a Red Delicious. Now they have an Ambrosia. They have a Honeycrisp. They have a crab apple. Like they have so many choices. So we want to make sure that we are serving in the way that connects with them. Consumers have instant information and there's constant innovation that's happening. So we want to make sure that we are meeting all of the needs, not just about our product, okay? It's no longer just about the product. It's about how we are serving them. So we may say, well, the product will sell itself. Well, sort of. But if you're a cringy salesperson, if you're a cringy distributor and you're breaking trust left, right, and center, you're not doing what you say you would do, then guess what? They'll go elsewhere. We don't want them to do that. We want them to come to Healy. We want them to be part of this amazing community. The reasons why people have buy has also changed, okay? And the way people buy has changed. So why people buy and how they buy has changed. At one time, way back when, they were meeting needs, okay? I need this to survive, all right? Then they became interested about the features. Okay, so tell me the details. How does this work? What's included? Then they became interested in the benefits. What can it do for me? Okay. Now, interestingly enough, I could tie. If you saw me talk about the generations at homecoming, I can tie some of these buying behaviors to those generations. So as you can see, when I talked about Gen X, I said, yeah, we were the independent ones. And we were the people who said, what does it do for me? Well, yeah, that's what happened. So our generation came in of consumers and said, what can it do for me? And then the millennials came in and said, yes, but how does it make me feel? And they also started the conversation along with Gen X around how does it connect to the greater good? You see, we have to connect to the values and motivations of modern consumers if we want to build our business. All right. I can do a whole training on this alone, this slide alone. Okay. So I'm going to make it really simple with the promise again. I hope I'm hooking you in. I hope that you're like, I can't wait to see some of these other trainings. We want you to build your sales system on 4 principles. Okay. Connect with people, learn from them, advise them, and serve them. That's it. It's that simple. Understand the problem, recommend a solution, promote that solution, and always, always, always make it about the people that you're dealing with on a day-to-day. Now, just to give you a little bit of heads up, okay? So yeah, I've given you those sales principles on what you need to do, but let me give you a little bit of insight on how people make decisions, okay? So people become aware, folks become aware of a need that they have, and they want to address it. Now, whether or not you help them to see the need that they have or whether they bring it to you, it doesn't matter how that happens, but people become aware of a need. Now, sometimes that can come through education, right? They begin to collect information and they start looking at different alternatives of how to solve the problem, okay? Because they weigh the evidence. And then they make a choice of those alternatives to address their problem, to come up with a solution, and they take action. And then what they do is they evaluate the results and they tell people about it. Okay. So your role is to help them become aware and see a need. That comes through conversations. That comes through asking questions. That comes from talking about your products. Provide just enough information to quickly hook them, okay, in a way that works for them, right? Don't take the same sales approach with every single person. Get to know people. Get to know what works for them. Provide information in a way that builds belief and trust. You can do that through stories. You can share them through, your own examples or the examples of others. And then help them come to a decision. But accept their answer. Now, it doesn't mean you can't follow up later. Again, we'll talk about that later, okay? But I do want you to be able to accept their decision. Don't come at them defensive or ask them why not. And that's a bit of a cringy behavior. We don't want you doing that, okay? We want you to build trust at every level. Reaffirm their decision. Support their decision. Build your relationship. Because just because they say no right now does not mean it's no forever. It just means no right now. Okay? Keep that in mind. All right. So I want you to be able to walk away from today being able to take action. This is very important for me. So the one thing that I want you to know beyond a shadow of a doubt is how to handle the direct sales objection. We're going to talk about objections later, I promise you, okay? Because there's many objections, okay? We'll talk about that in detail. But today, what I want is I want you to be able to start. You don't need to, like I've said before, you don't need to know everything before you start, but it would absolutely help for you to keep these 3 key things in mind, okay? Mindset. Know that your mindset matters. Be a learner. Don't be a know-it-all. That's cringy. Okay? Be a learner. That builds trust. And understand that trust is imperative. All right? So if people say no or they have questions, don't take it personally. Okay? It's a common objection. It's normal. Okay? People naturally resist things that are unfamiliar to them. Don't get defensive. Don't do any of those cringy things. Surround yourself with a supportive community, because sometimes it is hard. Let's say we've heard, I've had that happen to me where it's like, okay, I did a proposal and then they've said, yeah, this is maybe not the right fit for us, or it's not the right fit for us right now. And so sometimes that can, that can be a little heavy. Go back, support yourself with your supportive community, because it will turn around. All right. They won't all be no's. All right. Educate yourself. Be clear on what is direct selling versus a scam. This is really important for you. Be clear and confident about why you've chosen to pursue this business, Healy business, and be confident in Healy and your Healy device. Be confident in who you're working with. And then build trust, which means you're going to have to be patient. Always respond in a way that builds trust, and do not reinforce negativity. Okay? You are important to the customer and your influence is big. But if you do all the talking and you never listen, you're going to lose that influence. Understand the value of Healy. Understand that your influence will help you surpass the expectations of every consumer that comes in your path. All right? You really matter in this process. As we end our session, I'd like you to be able to take away what you've learned and put it into action right away. It won't matter how good the webinar was. It doesn't matter how great the information that we present you with, or how fabulous I am as a facilitator. Won't matter if you don't action what you've learned right away. You will lose the opportunity to grow. So with that, I've got a little homework assignment. I want you to take a snippet of this, okay? Do a screenshot, whatever you need to do, And I want you to prepare yourself, okay? I want you to write your response to the question, what is direct sales? I want you to know it inside out, okay? And when someone comes to you at a response, I want you to think about what you would say. I want you to write out why you've chosen to pursue direct sales. And I want you to write down why you've chosen Healy. Get clear on it, okay? This is going to help educate you. It's going to help you stop feeling caught off guard. It's going to help to prepare your mindset. It's going to help you build confidence. It's going to help you build trust. Now, don't use it as a script, okay? It's not going to be good if you pull up your paper and then start reading this. No, that's not going to work, all right? Don't use it as a weapon. Don't come at people with these answers. Just know it, feel confident about it, get comfortable with it, prepare for it. Be authentic, be honest, don't exaggerate, and don't take it personally. Next week, we will explore starting strong. Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about. And it is my absolute privilege to serve you. Now, with these last couple of minutes, I have a favor to ask you. I'm hoping that today's conversation, this webinar was valuable to you. I hope that you learned something. And even if you knew it all, what we're doing is we're creating and setting a foundation for our Healy distributors to be building trust from every level. When people hear the word Healy and the company Healy, they know that they are a trustworthy company and these are trustworthy distributors, and we want to do business with them. That's what we need to do. Now, in order to provide you with the right content, in order to provide you with things that are really going to help you, I need you to give me the opportunity to learn, and for Jody to have the opportunity to learn, and for our Healy partners to know that we're hitting you with all the right information, that we're doing a decent job, or areas of improvement. So Jody is going to put a link to a survey. It's going to take you 2 minutes. I'd really, really, really like it if you could just open it up right now and do the survey before you even leave the webinar.
Shannon,
Yeah.
would you mind? I'm going to put the link in again right now, just because the chat keeps moving. So I'm going to do it again.
Sure. Yeah.
And would you mind going back to the last slide again so people can see that date and that time again that you have?
I sure can.
That would be amazing. That was whoever
There we go.
Healy fan is asked if we would do that. So thank you that's a great idea. All right, so you now have the link. You can go ahead and open that in another tab. You're going to have 24 hours to fill it out, but you should do it right now.
Do it now, do it now, do it now.
Do it now, because you know how that gets. The day gets on and you'll never get to it.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say thank you from a producing perspective. You guys were a lovely, lovely crowd. Your questions were great. Thank you for the couple moments of patience. There was a couple of settings I didn't set up correctly. It was my first webinar with Zoom. I've done hundreds of meetings, but my first webinar. So if you were having issues, where's the link to the survey? Let me put it, I'm going to put it in again. But if you have any issues with anything, put it in the Q&A or let us know in the chat. As a reminder to you, the invitations to these sessions, if you didn't see it in the chat, went out to the Americas. They went out in the newsletter, meetings, emails. And so if you didn't see one, Eva just wanted to say, double check to make sure that you are subscribed, that you didn't accidentally unsubscribe to those invitation emails. Make sure you check your spam and those types of things. But we did have it confirmed that they did go out. So we do know that they did go out to the people in the Americas. For those of you who are coming in from overseas, you're lucky you found us. So that's a different conversation whether or not we're going to open this up globally. So for now, it's going to the Americas. And yes, Sina, there will be a replay available. I don't actually know exactly where that's going to be posted. So Eva will get back to everybody on communicating that, probably through the same channels where you can access the replay of it. It will probably take a few days to a week to get this put into a place for you to see it. So make sure you watch your emails for that. What else can we answer for you? Before I won't stop the recording just yet because people will watch this. So just in case there's some good questions. And you know what? Let us know if you found it helpful in the chat. We'd love to see your feedback. It just, if we're heading in the right direction, you let us know.
Please do.
Thank
I know
you.
there's a question about sharing the presentation. The way in which you'll be able to see that is in the video.
Yeah, the replay. That's right. Wonderful.
Thank you, folks. You are amazing.
We will see
Can't wait till next time.
all of you on June 20th. Make sure you register, share it with your teams. The next time the chat saving feature will be available, that was my fault. So you'll be able to save the chat next time. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. I sure appreciate it. Did I miss the part you spoke about follow-ups?
No, we'll be doing a session on follow-up, its own session. So you're good.
Yeah, you bet. So there's going to be a call every week now for the next 4 weeks, and then once a month after that until I believe it's May, I believe is when our last one is, or something like that. I could be wrong about the date. Don't quote me on that one. No, you did not miss it. It's great. This is brand new, guys. Be patient with yourselves. Pretty soon you'll be waiting for it every week, every month.
Yes, you do have to sign up for the next one. You have to register for each class individually.
And you do that through the Zoom link. That's right.
Webinar 2 to 15 stands for there will be 15 in total. Next week's is the second webinar. So you don't want to miss any of them.
Can I share the Zoom link here? The Zoom link will come through your Healy communication channels. Yeah, that's the best way to get them, just so you're getting the most current information in case something changes.
Awesome.
Hey, Danielle, thank you for asking that. Great question. Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and turn the recording off. We will see all of you hopefully next week. And yes, please register for each and every webinar separately. Okay. They're not all on the same time. Some of them, the times change. So make sure you pay attention to those times and those dates. We were as consistent as we could be, but we had to deal with holidays and, like national holidays and things we were working around. So make sure you pay attention to the specific times and dates. Thank you, Juliet. We're glad that you appreciated the webinar. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but we'll stay online for another moment or two.
Yes, the recording will be sent out. The time next week, I believe, let me just confirm.
Thanks, Shannon.